Hey guys, how's it going? Like Butter here, and today I'm bringing you another build video. Last build video, you guys said I kind of rambled on a little bit too long, so I think we're going to do these build videos a little bit different. We're going to go over it really quickly in the start for people who just kind of want to see the build and want to just kind of immediately just make it because they trust me enough to, be able to put the best pieces in slot. And some of you guys want a more in-depth description of different variations and different things I can use. So we're going to do both, okay? So if you want to stay the entire video to see like more in-depth reasons why I'm putting things in certain places, you can do that. If not, it's cool. But anyway, so let's get right into the build. This is an aces and eights build. This is a sniper build made specifically for long-range combat. This is a fantastic build for the global event that's going on right now. Reanimated. Reanimated is a very cool event. If you don't kill your enemies with a headshot, they will come back to life with a very small amount of health. And when you headshot them and kill them, a big green puff goes flying everywhere, as you can see on screen. And it'll do corrosive damage to everything in the area. So this build is absolutely phenomenal for this event. Now, is this build on par with a high-end M1A build? Absolutely not. The M1A is absolutely just busted and pretty much kills any chance of any other build being viable until it gets nerfed. It's going to get nerfed very soon. I think it's going to get probably like a 20-25% base damage nerf. Once that nerf goes through, absolutely this build will be probably one of the best builds for long-range combat. So let's get into it. So for our first gun, we are using the Surplus SVD. First, you want to have this attribute here, damage to targets out of cover. It is just the best attribute in the game for the third slot. If you're using like an LMG and you already have that, it's up to you what you decide to put in that third slot. Probably armor damage, or I'm not sure what people use in the third slot for LMGs. I don't really use LMGs, but on this build, damage to targets out of cover. I'm running Lucky Shot, which is a really good talent to help you with the ammo problems that the SVD has. It also allows you to kind of just spray from cover, especially blind firing over cover. Blind firing over cover with the SVD is incredibly accurate. I don't really know why, but it is. So let's go into the attachments real fast. So obviously you're going to be using the sharpshooter class with this because it is a sniper build, and you get marksman rifle and rifle damage, headshot damage in the tree. So it's just by far the best option. We're going to use the digital scope. It's just too good not to use. 45% headshot damage, negative 5% crit damage, which is going to do absolutely nothing to your build. On our barrel, we're using the Omega 762 rifle suppressor. It gives plus 20% stability and minus 10% optimal range. You're really not going to feel the difference of that optimal range, as you can see in the chart down here. It makes basically no difference at all. You're never going to be shooting, the gun from like 60, 80 meters. That's what your secondary is for. So that's really good to put there because the SVD just absolutely has so much recoil. It's very hard to control. For your underbarrel, if you want more stability, you can run that. That's what I run. You can try to get away with crit chance. I wouldn't recommend it. You could try accuracy as well, but I don't think it really, like, the SVD has kind of crappy accuracy, but for the most part, just run stability on this. And then I'm running the extended mag as well. If you really wanted to, you could try to put the stability here, and that way you could put crit chance on your underbarrel and possibly even crit chance somewhere else, but that's just what I run. Secondary, running the Nemesis. I got a God Roll Nemesis here. Not that it, really matters too much with the God Roll station in the game, but this was before the God Roll station, so I'm pretty proud of this. So the Nemesis, if you don't have a Nemesis yet, I'd suggest looking up a video on how to do the quest for it. It's super annoying. It's time gated. I really wish they would just make it drop in the dark zone all the time. But yeah, regardless, there you go. And then for my mask, there's two options here. Either you can use an aces and eights mask and go with the other variation of the build that I'm going to talk about, or you can just use the Coyotes mask. The Coyotes mask has been working really well for me because this build lacks crit chance, So having that 25% critical hit chance almost all the time, since you're going to be using the gun from long range, it's super, super helpful. And then, 10% crit chance, 10% crit damage is also really helpful when they're, in between 15 to 25 meters as well. So I think Coyote's Mask is probably the best option here. For the chest piece, this is 100%. You need this chest piece. It goes so well with the build. This is a pristine example. It's a named Araldi chest piece that has perfect focus on it. We are using scope, 12x scopes on both of our weapons. You'll see in the gameplay video how you can kind of juggle juggle the talent in this game. It's weird. It's like when you come out of a scope, you get like a 1 second grace period to go back into the scope. So what you can do is when you zoom out to take a look, you can zoom back in and it'll keep the it'll keep the bonus active. So that's super strong. You want to have headshot damage, crit damage. Honestly, here with this headshot damage, I would like to have 6% crit chance here. But headshot damage is really good for this build as well. So you can see I need to farm a better pristine example, and I definitely will. For the mod, you can do either headshot damage, crit chance, whatever you want to do. It'd probably be more beneficial to do crit chance here than crit damage, but that's kind of just what I'm rocking. And now that I put the Coyote Mask on, definitely crit damage is better. Especially because if you're playing with the other people and they have the Coyote as well, you're most likely getting 35% crit chance instead of 25. So that's also really, really helpful. All right, so holster is pretty straightforward. We're just running an aces and eights holster. These all roll with weapon damage. You can get aces and eights very, very often from the raid. So if you run the raid, you'll be able to get this stuff quite a lot. So I ended up rolling headshot damage there. The backpack, which used to be raid exclusive, it is no longer raid exclusive. So you guys can get this backpack. Max weapon damage and max headshot damage here. So you can see I'm putting headshot damage on almost everything. And then we got a crit chance mod on it. And then for my gloves, I am running, again, headshot damage, weapon damage, pretty straightforward. You're just basically rocking reds. And for the knee pads, weapon damage, headshot damage as well. So you can see I'm basically putting headshot damage on everything. We're stacking it as high as possible. And the reason for that is because you are going to be hitting only headshots with this build. I know this build is going to be a little more frustrating to use on console, but I believe in you guys. I know there's some really good aimers on console, and you guys will do just fine. When it comes to the skills, I've been kind of experimenting. You could experiment with this other hive variation here, which my hive's on cooldown, so it's not letting me see it, but the one that gives you like stability and it gives you a little bit of damage and that kind of thing, you could try using that. I'm not sure if it gives damage. I think it does. I think they changed it to give a little bit of damage now, but you could try that. I've been messing with the decoy, and since I'm playing solo right now, I'm using the reviver hive, but you could switch around. I tried like a repair drone and some other stuff. That's totally up to you. So the idea of this build is pretty much what you're going to be doing is you're just going to be sitting back in cover, and you're just going to be doing as much damage as you possibly can, hitting headshots all the time. As perfect focus kind of stacks up, you start doing large amounts of damage. I think with this build, I hit for like 21 million crits with the Nemesis. Now, this other variation of the build that I do want to show you, so for those of you guys, that's pretty much the build for you guys who want like a basic breakdown. There's another variation of this build that I want to share with you guys. So I was testing this for quite some time. So you basically put an aces and ace mask on, and then you switch out these knee pads for the Sawyer knee pads. So the Sawyer knee pads are a little bit different. Now, here's the thing, right? The way this works is when you're standing completely still, you will get up to 30% weapon damage. And this is good for this build because when you're sitting in cover and you're doing damage from range, it can be very, very powerful to get that 30% damage stacked up. The problem with this is there are some situations where you need to move, and in those situations, you're losing all of that buff. That buff is completely gone. You can try and test this out yourself to see if you like it. You end up, I think, with full stacks hitting for 23 million crits, but you're going to give up a lot of crit chance. So you're going to be hitting those crits a lot less often. Between these two, I kind of like the Coyote's Mask a little bit more, but you could try it yourself. See if you like the Sawyer's knee pads. If you do, cool, switch it out. The Sawyer's knee pads are a very good option. And the fact that you do close to the same amount of damage and it gives you a little bit of armor, gives you a little more survivability. You know, a lot of people are going to like that, but this is a ranged DPS build. You're probably not going to need that armor. You know, you're going to be doing most of your damage from really long range, but if you feel like you're dying a lot with the Coyote's Mask, if you're playing in a group, I highly suggest the Coyote's Mask. But say you have already 2 people in your group that are running it, then pop the Sawyer's knee pads on. That's like an alternative way to build it. Super, super good. Other weapons you could use besides the SVD, I wouldn't suggest anything besides the SVD, honestly. The SVD is a very, very high rate of fire. You can spam it. It is a very, very strong marksman rifle. Now, if you don't have the Nemesis, you could try the White Death, I think it's called, which is the named, I think it's the named classic M44. I want to try that as well. I think that'll be like a pretty cool option for people who don't want to try to use the Nemesis and want to use something else. I do want to do more testing with that specific gun, but you know, you could do, I think just the classic M44 is the highest damage on high-end rifles or on marksman rifles, but that's what I basically use. So I'm going to show you guys some gameplay. Remember, you just want to be using the marksman rifle as well and use your flashbang because that'll help you a lot. But the sharpshooter specialization is by far the best option here, and that's the build. I'm going to show you guys some gameplay. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to drop the video a like. Let me know if you guys like these more compressed breakdowns of the builds instead of me kind of blabbing about it, because I do like to go into a lot of different scenarios, but some of you guys just like, you know, it being a little more straightforward. So thanks for watching the video. Make sure to drop the video a like if you enjoyed, and enjoy the rest of the gameplay. Take care, everybody.
Squad at Lincoln's been waiting for this delivery. We've got to get those shells on the train.
As your sergeant, what's he doing?
Yeah!
May have eyes on Wilson. Outside near the main entrance to the mall.
I'm gonna fuck you up.
advanced AEDs in proximity.
It ends here. You think you can handle this?
There's an elevator that should take you to the mall. Wilson is still by the entrance. We've spotted a mortar team with him. These are probably the fuckers who attacked the castle.
Hostile forces incoming.
This is it! That's one of ours gone.
They must have a lab nearby for weaponizing this shit. Make sure you put it out of operation.
Are they okay? Firing an RPG. Eat this! Taking way too much damage. We've got a friendly down. Damn! They're hitting us! Ah!
Excellent. I'll send in a team to dismantle the rest of that crap once you've cleared the site.
Immediate medical assistance needed. Serious trauma detected.
Find cover! I'm gonna...
Weapons free!
Putting bullets.
Tossing a frag!
Immediate medical assistance needed. Agent down.
Nowhere to hide! Get away from...
No! Bastards! Man down!
No clear shot! Got...
Don't let Wilson get away.
What the? He dead!
No more contacts. Great work. Wilson's unit is out of action, and you've crippled True Sun's chemical warfare efforts. Also, Kelso just reported in to confirm the survivors from the castle settlement have safely reached the rooftop settlement. There's no one doing what happened to them, but at least you've made sure it won't happen to anyone else.